Built in 1903, originally a rail bridge, which at its time of construction was the second largest span in Britain, the fourth bridge being the largest, Connell Bridge will enjoy its centenary in 2003. Interestingly, the railway station is still called Connell Ferry, after the former ferry which crossed the river prior to the bridge. However, the railway line no longer crosses the bridge, and last did so in 1966. Indeed, for a period, it was both road and rail bridge, with at first a bridge keeper and later traffic lights. The ferryman's house on the north shore, dating from the 1700s, was transformed a number of years ago to the Loch Arms Hotel. This lochside garden must have one of the best views in the area, overlooking the Connell Bridge and the unique Falls of Lora. The only saltwater falls in the UK and perhaps the world are below the bridge. The Falls of Lora are caused by a raised plateau of rock just below the surface at the head of Loch Etive, and depending on the tide, either Loch Etive roars into the sea Loch Lynne or vice versa. Both are a sight to behold, and yet incredibly the ferry safely crossed here for years, just a few short yards downstream from the falls. The name Connell is derived from the Gaelic Conyon, meaning tumultuous flood. Continue on to Ardcattan Priory, founded in 1230 by Duncan MacDougall of Lorne and the second oldest inhabited house in Scotland. Bruce is said to have stayed here after his victory at the Pass of Brander. The 13th century chapel adjoins the garden and both are open to the public. The grave of Colin Campbell of Glenure, victim of the Appin murder, lies here, beneath an unmarked slab for fear of its being vandalised by Jacobites. Still skirting the loch, the road continues on to a junction at Inveresruggan, and either continues on to Bonaw or runs over the hill through forestry to Barcaldine. An enduring tale of the loch tells of a beautiful Highland lass called Deirdre of the Sorrows. Legend says that she was born a Pictish princess in the 1st century AD. As a young girl, she was betrothed to marry King Conchobar of Ulster, but was unaware of this arranged marriage. In her teens, she fell in love with Naisha, one of 3 sons of a local clan chieftain. Naisha would do anything for Deirdre, and she was madly in love with him. But joy turned to sorrow when she was informed that the time had come to commit to betrothal. Naisha and his brothers were allowed to escort her over the Irish Sea, and her leaving was commemorated in a well-known Gaelic poem called A Farewell to Ulpa. Once in Ireland, Deirdre could show no affection towards the king, but he could see that she had strong feelings for Naisha. In a fit of jealousy, the king had all 3 brothers brutally killed. After this, Deirdre had no will to live, and she soon died of a broken heart. The king callously dumped her body into an unmarked grave where the 3 brothers had been thrown, where, at last, she was reunited with her love. It's said their spirits were transformed into swans, which flew back to Loch Etive and remain there to this day. This sad tale has inspired many poets over the centuries. The earliest written version was discovered in a 16th century book of Gaelic poetry found on the nearby island of Lismore. In more recent times, a number of poets, including W.B. Yeats, have written versions of the tale, and a number of stage adaptations have also been produced.